Hello and welcome. Today we are going to tackle one of the most versatile and, let's be honest, one of the most confusing verbs in the entire English language, get. Welcome to another interesting Gist English Masterclass, where we take your English from basic to professional level. We're here to finally demystify get. I mean, you hear it everywhere, right? But using it correctly and with confidence, well, that's the real key. By the end of our time together, you are going to have all the tools you need to master it. I promise. So here's how we're going to do this. First, we'll talk about why it's so confusing. Then we'll dive into our plan to master it, breaking down all those meanings. After that, it's your turn to practice. And finally, we'll do a quick recap and I'll leave you with one final challenge. Sound good? Let's go. Okay, let's dive right in. First things first, why is get such a headache for pretty much everyone learning English? So, have you ever been in a conversation, heard someone use the word get, and just felt completely lost? If you're nodding right now, trust me, you are in very, very good company. This is a classic hurdle for a reason. And here's the breakdown of why it's so tricky. For starters, it's one of the most common words out there, so you just can't avoid it. Then there's the big one. It has over a dozen different meanings. And the real kicker? Its meaning can totally flip depending on the context of the sentence. That's why just memorizing a list of definitions, it's just not going to work. We need a better strategy. And that strategy starts right now. See, the secret isn't to memorize a long, random list of words. No. The secret is to group the meanings into logical, easy-to-remember categories. It makes everything so much clearer. Okay, our first group is all about possession and movement. Just think of it like this. This is get when we're talking about acquiring things or when we're talking about moving ourselves or other things from one place to another. Let's look at some examples and you'll see what I mean. You can get an email. That means you received it. You can get a new laptop. That means you obtain or buy it. You might ask a coworker, "Can you get my notebook?" Meaning, fetch it. Or you can talk about when you get home, which means to arrive. You can even get a taxi, which means to catch one. See, it's all about acquiring or moving. Now for our second group, and this one is a real game changer, especially in professional English. This is all about using get to talk about a change, a transformation, or a state of being. This is one you'll use all the time. Get plus an adjective, like in things are getting better, just means become. Simple, right? But here's a really cool structure. Get plus a past participle. Saying he got promoted sounds so much more active and dynamic than he was promoted. It can also mean to experience something, like when you get a headache. And that brings us to our third and final category, using get for communication and influence. This is how we talk about understanding ideas, persuading people, and making contact. In everyday conversation, saying, now I get it, is a supernatural way to say I understand. You can also get someone to do something, which means you persuade them. And notice that little pattern. It's get, then the person, then to, and the verb. And finally, you might try to get someone on the phone, which just means to reach or contact them. All right, time for a super quick visual recap. This table pulls together all those core meanings we just talked about. You can see things like receive and I got your email, all the way to become and he got upset. This is a fantastic little cheat sheet to see just how flexible this one little word is. Okay, we've gone through the theory. Now it's time to put it all into practice. This is the part where the learning really, really sticks. You ready for this? So, here's your first little challenge. I'm about to show you a sentence. All you have to do is figure out which meaning of get we're using. Okay, here's the sentence. We could not get the supplier to lower the price. What do you think? Take a second. And the answer is to persuade. Did you spot that pattern? Get plus a person plus to and the verb. It just means we couldn't convince them. Fantastic job if you got that one. Excellent. Let's try one more. This next one uses a really common structure that you'll hear all the time. Here it is. the window got broken during the storm. Now think back to that second group we talked about, the one about change.
And the answer is, it shows a change of state. Yep, this is that classic get plus past participle structure. It's just a more dynamic way to say the window was broken. See? You're totally getting it now.
That was fantastic work. Okay, let's head into our final section and make sure all this amazing new knowledge is locked in for good. So what are the big takeaways here? Well, number 1, context is everything. You've got to look at the whole sentence. Number 2, that grouping strategy we used, that is your secret weapon. And finally, and this is the most important part, you have to practice. Start using these different forms yourself. Seriously, don't be afraid of this verb. It's your friend.
And that brings me to your final challenge. To really own this, I want you to try writing 3 simple sentences. 1 for possession or movement, 1 for a change of state, and 1 for communication. Go on, give it a try. That's how you go from just knowing this stuff to actually using it.
And just like that, you are now officially equipped to handle the verb get like a pro. So my final question for you is this. What other common English word drives you crazy? Let us know, and maybe we'll break it down in our next explainer. Thanks so much for joining me today.